welcome to another episode of Small Town Talk podcast, brought to you by the Small Town Boys, myself, John Travis.
Mason Campbell.
And Ella.
And today's episode, we've went over Mason's lifestyle. We've gone over a hobby of mine. Now we're moving on to Ella and what she does now as a profession. Do you want to tell them what it is?
I am an esthetician, which is basically just like a skincare specialist. And I just work on people's faces mainly. And yeah, that's about it. There's not much to it.
Do doctors recommend people to come to you?
Mm-hmm.
Like almost like a dermatologist?
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense then.
So you just got out of school.
Mm-hmm.
Just started your own little business going on, which we have some questions written down, but we're just going to get the main question out of the way because we need to find out this anyway. But how'd you get started? What made you want to do it?
Okay, so I've always kind of been into like makeup and skincare in general, like ever since I was probably like a freshman in high school, probably. And yeah, like I've just always enjoyed it, and I actually didn't know that aesthetics was like a thing until I was probably a sophomore. And then I just kind of looked into it more, and my mom actually told me that I should do it, and I ended up really liking it.
Aesthetics being like what you do now, right?
Yeah.
But why do they call it an esthetician then? Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, like aesthetics, and if you do aesthetics, you are an esthetician.
Okay. That makes sense.
It does make
But
more sense.
I figured when I asked earlier if doctors like would recommend her, because a lot of times it's hard to get into a dermatologist. And correct me if I'm wrong, but you guys kind of have pretty much the same background as a dermatologist, right?
Yeah, kind of, but we're just more on like the top layer of your skin, and a dermatologist would go like the top layer of your skin is called the epidermis, and a dermatologist would go deeper than that, like deeper than the dermis, which is below the epidermis.
I know the dermis is where
Dermatologist.
whenever
that makes sense. Gotcha.
Whenever you get tattoos, the ink goes into the dermis itself. It goes into the second layer of skin. It don't go any deeper than that.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that until...
Yeah, and that's why we can't do stuff like microblading or anything like that, because that goes below the epidermis. No.
I figured you could.
Wait, you can...
Yeah, we have to get a separate like license for that kind of stuff.
To do what?
Like permanent makeup and microblading and stuff like that.
It's like eyebrows, right? Where they put it on like little razor blades almost and like scratch it in.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard that can be very painful.
Yeah.
Well, we're also going to use this episode to talk about our new Patreon. If you're unfamiliar with Patreon, what it is you would go to our site, our Patreon site, which we'll link in the description, and you can pledge a monthly donation, and that will help us support the channel, whether it be equipment, props, or anything to improve the quality and enjoyability of watching this podcast.
Or in backside giveaways.
Yes. Okay. So we'll put, like I said, we'll put all that information in the description. And in return for your money, we will post exclusive content on there that you can go and watch. We just shot a video for our Patreon today, and it was actually Mason getting... What did you do to him? Because
my face sanded down with sandpaper.
I did microdermabrasion.
And
Blazing.
A
lot of people do that.
Blazed. But no, that's basically what it was. It was just like a tube with suction and like sandpaper.
And I didn't think it was going to work, but like I can feel my snout now. And
you enjoyed it?
Actually, yeah. Like you could feel it getting clean.
He's like, oh man, I hate people touching my nose.
You ever like worked outside for like 5-6 hours, and you're like around dust and dirt, and you get it in your hair, and the second you get in the shower and you like really scrub it out, and you can feel it. I mean, that's kind of what it felt like.
Yeah.
Because I told her, I was like, I can feel a difference. She's like, can you? I was like, yeah. I don't feel like it's dirty or oily.
Yeah.
You know. But I mean, I guess it makes sense because she's got sandpaper on the end of that daggone thing. She's just...
It literally rips the top layer of your skin off, like the very top layer.
It's like sandblasting your nose.
No, it actually felt, it really didn't feel bad.
All right, well, let's jump into these questions. I will go first. And my first question is, how much do you have to learn in order to become an esthetician. So we're starting at like the baseline female, like you know, they know about skincare, they know about all this stuff, but like how much did you learn through school? Like how much knowledge do you have to have in order to become an esthetician? Which I know you have to have like a license and schooling, but like what is like the
like the schooling part?
yeah, like what's the learning curve on that?
Basically an entire textbook worth. And like you actually have to know it. Like you can't just like kind of breeze through it. Like there's stuff like chemistry and electricity and diseases, obviously.
Yeah, I figured that much.
And like sanitation, and like you actually have to know that stuff to actually like graduate. Otherwise you can't. But like there's a lot of stuff that goes into it that a lot of people wouldn't think of at all.
Huh. Are we talking like an algebra size textbook here? Are we talking about like one of the big
it's a
son of
legit
guns?
textbook.
Yeah, no, I've seen it. It's pretty thick.
And you got to remember every bit of it?
Mm-hmm.
Is it broke down into sections where you take tests over like sections of the book at a time, or you just
Yeah.
got to know it all at once? Well, I'd say for your final test you'd have to know it all, right?
Yeah, even the final test though, like it's a little like booklet of like over 1,000 questions, and
Wait,
it's
huh?
over. Yeah, it's 1,095
1,000.
questions. Yeah, and
Gosh.
it's like broken up into the chapters, but you have like 2 days to do that.
How do you remember 1,000 questions?
You study.
Nah. I do good to remember like 5.
A lot of it's easy though, and like it's interesting, so it's easy.
Is it like
When-
common sense stuff, a lot of it?
Well,
Some
I
of it.
did some of her like work packets, like the part that did like anatomy, and I just remembered some of it from high school. Like it wasn't like crazy difficult, but
Oh,
then
yeah.
there were some questions that were like
I'm a Jeffrey Dahmer when it comes to anatomy.
I don't know. So
You,
you're a what?
I'm a Jeffrey Dahmer when it comes to anatomy.
What's that even mean?
Isn't that what people like, the inside of the body? That's
I mean,
anatomy,
yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you
Like
mean?
Grey's
What do you
Anatomy?
mean you're the Jeffrey Dahmer
Dude,
of anatomy?
I've field dressed so many deer. I'm telling you what, I've seen every bit of guts you can think of. I'm pretty much a doctor at this point,
Oh.
honestly.
I trust you.
But you guys looked at me weird, like that
I
wasn't anatomy, and I was like, what was that?
I was just confused.
Anyways,
So so you got to learn a lot. You got to
Yeah.
know a lot.
now how much of that are you actually going to use? Is it like high school where you're like, I'm not going to use this, or is it like a lot of it you're actually going to use?
A lot of it you do use. Like there's obviously some stuff, like a lot of the like electricity and stuff, you don't really use it because you already kind of know it. It's like how you're like properly supposed to like plug something into the
Oh,
wall,
okay.
or like just about like bolts and stuff that you don't really need to know really.
Do you guys use the laser, like the hair removal stuff with the laser? Do you guys do that
Mm-mm.
kind of stuff? You don't?
No.
Okay, I kind of figured you might. Which that'd be deeper, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. So, but still, I mean, you got to have quite a bit of knowledge about what you're doing. Because, I mean, somebody's coming in to trust you.
Yeah.
And they're paying you to do it. So it's like, I really can't screw this up,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Yeah.
And especially coming from like a small town where we're from, if you mess one person up or 2 people up, everybody's going to know.
Yeah.
That's the scary part.
But, I mean, that's why you guys go to school for how long was it that you was in school for?
Like exactly 7 months.
And it was like constant, right?
Mm.
You didn't get like breaks or none of that. It was just like,
We got like a couple days off for
She
Christmas.
would also go in on like Saturdays.
Yeah.
what?
I
Yeah.
was busy.
How many hours was it? It was like 700 and something hours.
750.
750 hours.
Was that like lab time? Or what they would consider lab time where people come in and you like work on them?
Yeah, like we had like actual customers that we
Oh, no
worked
kid.
on.
But did you guys get to keep that money?
We got to keep the tips if we got a tip, but like with that specific school, a lot of the people that came in were mean old ladies,
Oh,
so they did not care to tip.
Is it cheaper to go in and like if students work on you?
Oh yeah,
Is
a
it?
facial was like $20,
What do you charge for facial?
40
40.
for like a basic.
So
one.
half off.
yeah, but they're not getting to keep it though. You know, it's going back to the school.
Well, yeah. But how many times did you get tipped?
I mean, almost every time I did something probably, unless they like didn't realize that they like needed a tip, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now, how many times did you get tips that like wasn't money, where old ladies were like, you can do this
Yeah,
better,
you can
like
do this a
this.
little bit better.
Oh, I have a story.
Right.
Okay.
Well, let's hear it.
So it was like a Saturday, and I had a client. I was next up on the list, and it was like this old lady, and she was already out there getting her hair done, like complaining to the cosmetologist. I don't know what she was talking about, but they said I was next up and that it was her, and I was so terrified. And she came in for a facial with décolleté, which is a neck and shoulder massage. And I like her facial was great. Like she was laying there like snoring, like she was having the best time.
Like she was
And
out.
yeah. And
Okay.
I like okay, let me think for a second. I'm
Oh, sorry, that's just funny. I can just see Ella, because Ella laughs really easy, and somebody snoring, she's like,
She's
honestly
giggling.
it's the best feeling whenever they're just like asleep, because you know they're not gonna like stare at you or like try to complain or anything. But I was doing the décolleté part of the facial, which you do during the mask, and I'm standing there massaging her, and she like immediately wakes up as I'm finishing, and she's like, you didn't do the massage. And I was like, yeah, I did, I just finished it. And then she was like, no, you need to do my arms too. And I was like, no, that's like not part of the décolleté. Like the literal like definition of a décolleté is your neck and shoulders. And she's like, well, I'm gonna have to ask them not to charge me because you didn't do it. And so I finished it up. I scraped the edges of the thing that I had with the massage cream in it, and I was like trying to rub her arms, and it probably felt so terrible. But I just finished it up, and then she tipped me $2 whole. And I was
Wow.
yeah. But that's just like an example of like what these old ladies are like.
do they not have cameras in there? And they
They
could have been
do.
like, she done it, like you was asleep.
They have cameras in there, but they don't have them in like the massage base.
Okay. Freaking old ladies, dude.
Yeah, I know.
Some-
Some of them are really nice, and some of them are just
Sometimes,
Yeah.
dude,
awful.
it'll make you want to kick a fat kid at Kmart. That's how some of these old ladies act.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Well,
So is that like the only bad story or bad experience that you've had with anybody?
No.
Oh, how
it
like
gets worse.
okay, if you have, let's say you have like 10 clients or customers or whatever you call them, like out of 10, how many are going to be like that old lady?
Like 1 or 2.
That's not terrible odds.
That's still like more than what
Yeah.
I thought though.
Most of them don't even really like talk to you. They just go in and go out.
And you got to be able to keep your head, you know. It's like you're working
Yeah.
with people, so you can't like lose your cool on them. Especially in a school setting, you can't lose your cool on them, because then you can get kicked out of the school.
Yeah, probably.
Because I'd say that schooling's not very cheap.
Well, I mean, they can kind of get kicked out because they sign a paper that says like, I know these are students. So
Okay. That'd still be on edge a little bit, just because if you say the wrong thing or you kind of act the wrong way, they could be like, well, this such and such person treated me like crap, and then it's like your word against their word.
Yeah.
Because like how she said there's no cameras back there, because then it's definitely like your word against their word, you know. And 9 times out of 10, they're going to believe the customer as bad as it sounds, just because they don't want to look bad on them.
Yeah. That's usually how it goes. The customer usually gets their way.
Now, in there at Paramount, didn't they do, well, you already mentioned one, they do cosmetology. Don't they do like nail techs and all that crap in there?
yeah.
Okay, I thought it was more than just like one.
So how
one
many
set group.
how many people graduated with you?
2 girls graduated the day before me, and then there was me the next day, and then I think somebody else like a week later, but that was all for February.
That was it?
Because from where everybody starts at different times,
Oh,
you
okay.
graduate at
So
different
how,
times.
how big was like your group?
Like starting out.
Like when I started,
Yeah.
our class was like more than full. Like we barely had enough seats. It was probably like 10, 12 people maybe.
But not all of them made it through.
Oh,
What?
no, they did.
Oh, they did?
Yeah. That was just like when I started.
I figure some people would like drop out or like lose interest
They
in it.
do.
And quit
Yeah,
going.
probably.
It's more cosmetology girls
Yeah.
that drop out for some reason.
I know whenever they go through that junk at Votech, don't that carry over to like after graduation if you do like cosmetology and stuff like that? Does that carry over as like your, like when they get licensed to do it at Votech? Do they have to
Yeah.
go back to a
No,
school?
they don't.
Oh, okay. Huh.
Wait, so can they get licensed through Votech?
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure phlebotomists get licensed out there. Like learn how to draw blood and all that
Mhm.
junk.
Really?
But dude,
I thought it was just like another thing to like put on your resume.
No, you get a license because they take clients and everything there.
Oh, really?
I was never the
That's
guy that
interesting.
was like, yeah, you guys can practice on me. Because they'd be like, hey, we need guys to come down and get their hair cut. And then you'd have the phlebotomist be like, we need people to stick. And I'm like, no, nah,
that ain't gonna be me.
no. Dude, there was kids that would come back out there and they'd have like Band-Aids everywhere. And they'd be like, well, they finally got it. And there was like 6 Band-Aids.
No.
At least with Ella's, it's not like drawing blood all the time. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
I'll let you practice. Okay, it wasn't terrible. It's not like you get up and you're bleeding everywhere.
It can't get any worse than what it started.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie. Whenever she looked at you earlier and said, look, it's ripping off his skin, I went, huh?
What?
It's ripping what? My skin? And then she's like, here's this hot towel.
Yeah, you warmed the towel up. What's that for? Like before you started everything, you like wetted a towel and like got it hot.
The steam from the towel opens up the pores and makes it easier to remove stuff.
Okay. Because when she
Like
when
a hot
she got
shower.
it out of the microwave, Mason looked at it and he was like, "It's steaming."
Dude, it was rolling steam. And I was like, you going to put that where? And then she flicked it off. And it like cooled down pretty quick. But she flicked it off, dude. And that water hit me. I was like, that's hot. I was like, you're going to put that where?
Your face.
She said, quit. I got to do it before it cools down. Do it on there.
Mason's like,
I'm trying not to move. John's like, how's that feel? I was like, feels like a wet towel, John.
and he was like, you know, I don't really know how I feel
It's
about this.
relaxing though. Like,
Yeah,
was
it
it
wasn't bad.
relaxing?
Yeah, once I was like, okay, she's not going to kill me, then I was like, oh. It's
Yeah, I
fine.
was like, Mason, how's it feel? He goes, you know, feels pretty nice under
Yeah.
here. I was like, oh, okay.
I mean, other than my neck was being broke on the back of the chair, and I was like, lean your head back, crack, and I busted my head off of it one
yeah,
time.
you
I was
don't
like,
typically
son of a
sit
gun.
down to do that stuff, right? You typically like, I would assume you'd lay down on a bed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
So that people aren't breaking their necks constantly. Well, Mason, you want to shoot her with one of your questions you got over there?
Okay, so John's asked you kind of how you got started. We've had another couple of questions. Where do you see it going? Like, do you see eventually you owning your own, like, shop, or do you see yourself just working out of, like, a rented space? Kind of like you are right now.
Hopefully will own my own place and
Mhm.
rent out booths for other
Other people.
people. And obviously, like, I'll still be working myself, but I feel like that would be a lot of fun. And, you know, I could, like, you know, like, pick who I want in my salon and pick
Yeah.
what I want in my salon and all that. Like, that's probably, like, a dream for me right now.
Because I'd say right now, you know, you're just, whether you get clients or not, the person that owns that shop's going to expect your payment at the end of the month no matter what.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And if you're like working for yourself, like she said, if she has like, I know there's a place on 2nd Street where the guy owns it, but he's got like 6 or 8 people filling chairs. It's not like if he don't meet his quota for the month, he don't have to worry about it just because like they're paying him. So
Yeah,
he
he
can
owns
Yeah.
the place.
just, he can just
so-
pay the bills off or whatever.
Yeah, which makes sense. Like, he doesn't have the stress of paying, but like, he has the stress of, if I don't get money, I'm gonna have to pay this like out of my pocket.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but also there is so much that goes into owning a salon. Like, say, like, if one thing is out of place and state board comes in there, the whole place could get shut down.
Like what?
I know-
Like, what's an example?
Like,
Isn't
I
it
don't
like
even remember.
isn't it like infectious stuff?
Yeah, it's like you have to have like barbicide visible at every station just to prove that people are like
That's like
disinfecting their stuff.
That's like utensil cleaner.
You have to have a certain type of floor. You can't have like
You gotta be
stuff
able to
that's
mop
gonna
it and sweep, right?
absorb.
Oh, like no carpet.
Nothing like wood.
It's got to
Like,
have like
no
a
wooden tools. Like,
It's-
it all has to be
Oh, I see
plastic.
what you're saying.
it's
yeah.
got to have like a lacquer thinner coating on it, right?
Yeah, like anything like that has to be like sealed. Like, there's so much like random stuff that goes into owning a salon.
So the place you work at, it has wood floors in it, but they're not sealed.
yeah, I mean,
I
it's a
wouldn't say
new
that
place.
too loud.
Yeah, like it's a
Well,
really,
I'm not saying the place.
it's a
but
new place, and they are doing a lot of work in there, and I can tell they are. Like it just opened like not too long
Because
ago.
I'm pretty sure they just got like regular linoleum wood, like the wood.
Yeah,
in
but
there.
I'd say if it's like a newer place, like she's saying, they're gonna let some of that slide if they're like remodeling.
Maybe.
Now, if it was like that the whole time, they'd probably say something. I know, like going back to like kind of what you're doing. I know whenever you go into like a tattoo shop or a, do you call that a esthetician shop? Then
You just call it like a spa.
okay. If you go into like a spa or you go into a tattoo shop, behind every tattoo artist's like diagram thing, they gotta have bloodborne pathogen training, and they gotta have like all these different certifications before you can
Yeah.
actually legally do it. And if they come in and they're not properly getting rid of their needles, or in her case properly getting rid of the stuff that she sucked out of somebody's face, they're gonna be like, well, that's not very clean.
Yeah.
That's probably not
We're gonna
gonna
have to shut
yeah.
this place down for a while.
And from what I've heard, when they come in, they don't play around. They just come in. It's
So
like
do they do like
good or
random
bad.
checks, or like can someone
Yeah.
like call them and like be like, hey, this place,
No, they'll come in randomly. They came into the school one time.
No, really?
Yeah, and we were in there. We had too many people in our class, and we got a warning, but still,
It's like the health department, right? Like for
Mm.
Portsmouth, is that what would be considered?
it's like the cosmetology health department, that type of thing.
Hmm. So they got the power to just shut you down like immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they don't
That's
even.
crazy.
They really don't. If somebody would like throw a tissue on the ground and they wouldn't pick it up, I'm pretty sure they could be like, not sanitary.
Yeah, and like those are the people that I'm going to take boards.
Oh. So they're like really up there.
So they're
Mhm.
like, hey, where do you work at?
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I don't have a job yet. Don't come to my spa.
Don't
Well,
come. Don't
yeah.
come to my place, dog. But I mean, you gotta think it's probably really rewarding for you too, though. Whenever they come in, they like look at your area and they're like, okay, she's got her crap together, and they turn around, walk off, and don't have much to say.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Rather,
I'm sure that's probably how most of them go.
Yeah.
But like,
rather than sitting down with a notepad telling you everything you got wrong, you know.
because I tell you what, back when I was a kid, I used to get my hair cut at Walmart, right? The salon in Walmart. That place was a wreck.
Oh yeah.
And there was crap laying. I mean, hair in the floor everywhere, stuff spilled.
Yeah.
Like it was a mess.
Those are the people that didn't go to cosmetology school.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, I'm gonna be.
It's like the people that work at
Cos-
Advanced Auto Parts. They're not a mechanic, but they work at Advanced.
Yeah, that's true.
You know.
Okay, so what is your favorite part about your job?
I guess like getting to help people, like it's a really like rewarding feeling whenever somebody like comes to me and asks me a question like regarding this type of stuff. Like I absolutely love like explaining things to people and helping them and seeing like progress be made.
Yeah, I would imagine it feels good for someone to come in and like come out feeling like prettier or
Like somebody really self-conscious.
cleaner. Yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah.
yeah,
And you're kind of like that safe haven for them where you're like, listen, I've seen it before. You don't have to like act weird about it. It's a normal thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
People get acne.
Yeah, this ain't nothing.
Because whenever I was coming up and like right before you start hitting puberty, did you notice how you like start getting pimples everywhere? And he was like, what the heck? And then you got puberty and it was like, they really started coming everywhere.
Ooh.
Dude, I used to get them like on my lip. I'd get them on my jaw. And dude, I was like, those are freaking ugly. Like, how do you get rid of them? And then it was just like, oh, it's just a part of freaking life.
Yeah,
And then once you get pimples, it's like, that, you're never going to get rid of them at that point. It's like you
No.
constantly got them.
I've been pretty lucky though. I feel like I have pretty fair skin.
You do.
I don't know
Yeah, it's
about
not
Mason.
bad.
I don't know about Mason over there. Which you usually don't have pimples or anything on your face.
If I do, I get them like right on my jaw or like right on my lip.
Which
because-
I think those are more kind of like ingrown hairs from you like
Yeah.
shaving and stuff. But because I get those bad.
Well, with my job, I kind of have to now because
Yeah.
you got to have a respirator and it's got a seal. You know how you wore that one the other day at the house? You know how it's kind of loose? Well, whenever you're going into like a factory, you got to like really,
A crank
cinch
on
'em
that
down.
thing.
and if you have a beard, it'll like leave an air pocket almost. And I think that's where I get most of my pimples is like underneath where the mask
Oh,
is
yeah.
because
Yeah,
nothing comes out, you know?
Yeah, I will say I usually don't get pimples on my face, but when I was working during COVID and we had to wear masks all the time,
Yep.
I was covered in pimples
Yep.
and could not get rid of them.
That's the worst feeling too.
But like, why is that? Like, I know like you're breathing out hot air and like it's moist in there and stuff. But like,
Yeah.
is that why you get so many people?
Yeah, all of
pimples?
that bacteria is trapped in there, and it's
Mhm.
just like sinking into your face.
Gotcha.
So it's like whenever you breathe it out and you don't have a mask, it kind of goes out. But if you do, it
Mhm.
just bounces off and comes right back.
Yeah,
So,
and like the sweat and stuff that was like
yeah.
under the mask.
So like masks are not good for skin.
I wonder.
No.
I wonder if that's why I break out during like the summer months too, where I sweat a lot
Mhm.
Could
and I
be,
get covered
especially
in
if
dirt,
you're
and then I
wear-
wipe my face and crap.
Especially if you're wearing a respirator, like you're sweating twice as
Yeah.
much like inside the respirator.
I noticed, like I told her, I used to get them like behind my ears or like in my ears and stuff, and I really couldn't tell. But now I'm thinking about it. Like when I was wearing gloves, I just like rub my face or whatever and keep going. So I mean, it kind of does make sense. All the crap that was on my gloves or whatever, and then when you're sweating, it's hot. So I'm assuming your pores are open.
Mhm.
And it's just letting all that crap in. Probably makes sense.
Probably.
Then you get the really deep ones. Have you ever had like really, really deep blackheads or pimples that you got to work on forever to get out?
Yeah.
Well, didn't she get one out of your dad's neck or something?
I forgot
Yeah,
about
we
that.
weren't in there for that. What was that?
It wasn't a blackhead. It was like a black like speck of something.
Probably a piece of coal dust.
So I'm gonna tell a story about it. Me, Mason, Ella, and one of Ella's friends were at Mason's house, and we were, I think we were getting ready to take Nellie out to go ride or something.
Did we take her out or we bring her back?
I think
Who's taking her out?
we took her out to the forest. But anyway, Mason's mom walks out, and she doesn't know Ella's an esthetician at this time. And then somehow in conversation that got brought up,
Mark's got a big black thing on his neck.
and then immediately said, "I need your help," and drags her
Come
inside.
on, whiz.
And she's gone for like 20 minutes. Like we don't
Yeah.
see her.
She had me like all up in his neck, and she was standing there like holding a flashlight, like, and I was like sweating, and she was sweating too, and like it was just the whole thing.
So just like a black dot, or like what was
Yeah,
it?
like it was like not supposed to be there, obviously, but it was like really like under his skin, so I didn't completely get it out.
John said, "Go get Ella. We gotta go." And I walked in. I looked to the left, and I went, "Huh." I turned around and walked back out, and I looked at John. I said, "It's gonna be a minute." "What do you mean, dude?" I said, "Dude, they're doing surgery in there right now."
He said there's blood all over the place.
He was bleeding pretty good though. And Mom's like, "I think she got it all, but I don't know. Come here and spread it open again."
What side of his neck was it on?
This one.
Right side.
Was that the side he got bit on by the spider?
Yeah, it makes sense.
It could have been that old spider bite. It could have been like scabbed over. or
Well, they
something
don't know.
underneath the
They don't know
skin.
if the spider bit him on the neck or what.
Oh.
They just think it traveled through his blood to his neck. That's what
Gotcha.
causes cellulitis. But I don't know, dude. When I walked in, I looked at them in there, and they was all like, "Yeah." I was like, I'm turning around." I was like, "I'm not gonna do this." And Mom's like, "Well, I think she got it all." Well, later at night, Dad was like, "Daggone, she's digging a China on that thing." He said, "Your mom wouldn't shut up." I went, "Yeah, that's Mom." Yeah, it's
Oh,
not. Mom will try
man.
to get pimples off my back, and she'll take her bobby pin. She'll like spread it out. She'll start
Bobby
digging
pin?
in. Oh yeah, my mom's really, really up with the times. She'll start cranking on that dude.
Well, I only got 2 more questions. How many questions do you have?
I got an unlimited amount of questions
Unlimited. We'll shoot them.
in my brain because I'm prepared all the time.
Is it my turn? Is it my turn to say a question?
No.
Yeah, I asked the last one.
No.
I asked where you saw your thing going, where you saw your business growing to.
I thought you just asked
No, I just
something
asked.
else. What was the last question you asked?
How would you get
Oh my
started?
gosh, we're falling apart.
You only
No.
had 3.
Because I was
No.
talking about like
Oh,
how
what's
rewarding
your-
it was.
Yeah, what's your favorite part?
Yeah.
It is your turn.
It's
to
your
ask
It is
the
my
question.
turn.
Yes.
Okay, so John's asked you your favorite part. I've asked you where you see it going. What do you want to accomplish as far as, I'm trying to think of the right way to word this, like inspiring younger people to kind of the same thing I ask you, to kind of go after like their dreams instead of, because obviously you did it for a reason. You did it because you liked it.
Mm-hmm.
But what would be some like tips or advice that you could give like
Yeah.
a
like,
younger person wanting to start out?
Yeah.
I know exactly what I want to say. If you have people like telling you to go to college and that you need to go to like some big like expensive college, you don't have to, because I did not go to college. I went to school for 7 months, and I could potentially be making quite a bit of money like here in like a year or so, like if I just keep working at it, like
And you're licensed. You came out over the license.
Yeah, well, I will
instead of
be
massive
like
debt.
officially licensed
like
next week.
Like in my brain, if you can come out with, like, spend less money, still come out with the same piece of paper, like obviously, spend as least amount of money as possible.
And you don't have banks
Yeah.
contacting you every month like, hey, you still owe $500,000 in
That's
student
another
loans.
thing too. Like you don't have to do all that.
Now, didn't you have to pay kind of up front for Paramount?
Yeah, like they do like the loan thing or like all that, but I just kind of paid up front basically.
But it's nothing crazy like $200,000 or $300,000.
Not even close.
And it's only for 7 months.
And it's a fun 7 months.
I'd say
like,
there's some
very
stressful
fun.
times though.
Oh yeah.
Kind of like, you ever heard people go through nursing school and they're like, some's great, and then some of it's like,
They're like, I've stayed up for a week straight studying for this test.
I'd say there's probably times like that.
The very end was stressful, but that was about it.
I would say studying for 1,000 questions would be a little stressful.
Oh yeah. That's when me and John were like really talking about getting the podcast started, and that's when we was like getting Nelly and getting all that, and I was like, the heck's Ella at, dude? She's studying. I was like, okay, whatever. And then like, wasn't long after that, he's like, oh, she's still studying.
Yeah, it was like 4 or 5 days.
I'm like, dude, what do you mean? Like,
like
did you guys break up and you're just not telling me?
The last like few weeks of school, I did nothing else but like focus on that.
Yeah.
Because that like I couldn't not like pass. That wouldn't be good.
No,
So.
because then you're kind of out the money you paid.
Yeah.
So like, what happens if you go through this schooling, right? And then you take this 1,000 question test and then you fail.
You just retake it.
You just retake the test.
How many
You don't
times
have to
can
like
you retake it?
You don't have to like go through schooling or anything.
1 or 2 maybe. Like I'm sure after a while, like if you just keep failing it, then there's gotta be like something wrong.
I think if I was going to do 1,000 questions, I'd want to do it one time and that's it.
Oh, yeah.
How long did it take you?
Like
Was it a supervised test too? Or
no, you just go in a room alone. So people could cheat on it if they wanted to. Like if they tried hard enough, you could very easily cheat on it. I mean, they have cameras, but like nobody really watches them.
That's still 1,000 questions though.
Yeah, how long did it take?
Like about a day and a half.
Did you have to do it at the school or could you
Mhm.
off? Yeah. I was going to be like, well, would they let you take it when you got home? But then you could like.
But the good thing
Definitely cheat.
is, like whenever you start school, they give you the actual like book
To study.
Yeah, and the answers are in the back of it. So you have that the entire time you're in
Okay.
school, and then right before you take it, she just takes the answers out and gives it to you.
Okay.
So you can do whatever you want with it. Like you can make flashcards, like you can do anything.
Kind of like in high school whenever your teacher would go through the textbook and like pick the questions that wasn't in the back of the book to answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, and well, like a more sucky thing is, if you don't get all the way through the textbook, like if you graduate kind of early, which I kind of did, you're not gonna get through the whole textbook, but you still have to test on those chapters. So there was like 4 or 5 chapters that I just had to learn like completely on my own, and I still had to test over them.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Didn't you score really high on your?
I mean, yeah, like there was people that scored higher, but like I got, what did I get? Like a 92.
How many did you get right out of 1,000 then? Hope it's 1,000 questions.
You
and she
can
got
miss like a few hundred questions and still pass.
Yeah, because think about it. If it's
I mean,
1,000,
I know, but that's
questions-
crazy to think. Because like every test I've taken, been like the biggest one I took was like 100 questions.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you can miss a couple hundred. That just puts into perspective how big that test had to be. It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I could have brought it.
it's like 300.
You should have.
Dude, 300
I
questions.
can miss 300 questions. Just don't even make sure you get the first 700 right.
Yeah, and then
and
screw
then just
it.
skip the last 300.
Oh wait, hold on.
It's like me when I was taking my motorcycle test. I was like, you can't miss another one.
Yeah,
You're
dude.
right there.
I was stressed on that one.
No kidding. I don't.
I missed 73. I got a 94.
You missed 73 questions out of 1,000. I'd say it's pretty good.
Yeah, that's not bad.
I'd probably miss.
But like 73 questions is an entire test.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Was your brain hurting at any point and you just like?
Yeah.
I was notorious for doing the Christmas tree thing where you just go down and it's like
there
bubbling
were
in
moments
answers.
where I like just guessed, like especially on the last few chapters that I didn't know at all really. Like I just guessed on most of them. But like a lot of them are common sense. Like the last few chapters in the book are not so much like science or anything like that. They're just like history and like business stuff, and a lot of that is common sense. So I didn't miss a ton of those. But yeah.
It's like, I know whenever I took my ACT, the first time I didn't plan on like going to college at all. So I just like went through it real quick and turned it in. Well then, like, me and my buddy Hunter, we got recruited for like almost a full ride to Ohio Christian.
Mm-hmm.
So when I got my ACT scores back, I looked at it and went, I'm going to have to retake this. And they was like, what'd you score? And I was like, 13. Just kind of looked away. And they
Isn't
went,
that like
what?
you get for like putting your name on it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they said, what? I was like, 13. And the soccer coach called me. He's like, hey, Bubby, great athlete. How you doing in school? And I went, I'm decent in school. He's like, well, your ACT says different. So we're going to have to take that again because you got to score at least a 17. And I went, okay, whatever. It's like I'm halfway through the booklet. And my mind and ADHD just went everywhere. And I was like, okay, screw this. When I started going through it again, I was like, well, got a 15 that time.
Hey, we're one step closer.
But the ACT is only what? Like 200 questions?
Like in all categories combined, probably like 250, maybe 300.
Okay, and she's still 850 questions above that.
Yeah.
So I'd say missing 75 is not that bad. I mean, I would trust you to work on my face if you missed 75 questions.
Well, you already did.
Well, yeah. But I
She already
mean,
worked on it.
but she's got her license, so I didn't have to know how she did on the test.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Because some people are better at like hands-on than they are at the test.
Oh yeah,
It's
I'm
always
a
like that.
terrible test taker.
That's what kind of sucks. You'd think they would let you guys do like 2 tests almost, and it'd be like one of them they just have you do random things, like dealing with what you're going to be doing, and then give you the written exam. Because let's be honest, you're not going to use a written exam when you're working on somebody.
Well, you kind of do. You take, right before you graduate, you take 3 tests in total. And one of them is a practical exam. And that's like what you do at boards. And it's a facial on a mannequin. And then you have like a short, like just paper test. It's just like a couple pages. And then you have the big book test, which is the 1,000 questions one. Yeah. And you have to like, you'll take your big book, and then like the last Wednesday that you're there, you'll take the practical exam and the paper test. And then if you pass all of that, then you graduate.
3 freaking tests.
That's a lot of tests.
That's a lot of questions
My
to
brain would
remember.
be melted.
Yeah, no kidding. Because I mean, that's a lot of crap you got to retain.
Yeah, it is.
It's not just like 2 or 3 questions,
And then at boards, you do the practical exam and a theory exam and an advanced test. So I have 3 more tests to take next week.
Oh wait, you still have tests to take even after you graduated?
I'm not officially licensed yet. I have a temporary work permit right now because I just graduated a few weeks ago.
Honestly, if you pass that
Yeah.
test, they're like, all right, she's gonna be okay. Just got.
Yeah. So I go to Columbus next week to take my boards on Wednesday.
So it's almost like you're on a probation period then.
Yeah, like my work permit expires the day that I take boards.
So what happens if you don't pass your boards?
I can't work.
Uh,
I mean, I just
That's
retake
so
boards,
confusing.
but it's just how it all like works.
So boards is like the final say in whether you get your license or not.
Yeah.
I mean,
Because right now you're just like a temporary.
that's kind of
Yeah.
crappy of them though, because I mean, if you take that many questions and pass all of it, you'd think they'd be like she knows her stuff.
Yeah, that's just to get started.
Yeah, you would think
that's crazy.
Yeah, but I mean, technically, the people at boards don't know that I did that good on my big book test. Like, the school knows that.
Well, couldn't they just like send it to him?
Yeah, they don't turn it in.
They just know that I have like a graduation certificate and that I have like a date for my boards.
That's crazy.
So it's not like your state testing. They don't send it to them and say, "Here's how good she done." That's kind of crappy.
I feel like that would be a lot easier.
Yeah, really.
For both parties.
Because then, I mean, you'd think a lot of people could probably get grandfathered in that way.
Oh, yeah.
They'd be like, "Oh, crap, they scored this high?"
They don't need to take the boards.
Yeah, you know?
Yeah.
They know it.
Like, if you get like a certain percentage, then here's your license.
Maybe that's something that they could change. Could you guys, like, start, like, a petition or whatever to, like, get something like that changed where if you scored a certain amount on a test, you wouldn't have to take boards? They just kind of...
Maybe, yeah.
I mean, I'd stand behind a picket fence, wouldn't you?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You know? Like, because if they do that good on something, they're no idiot.
But, like, no good for you doing it now because you're out. You're done with the school.
Well, no, she still got 3 tests.
No, yeah, but not affiliated with the school.
No.
The school's disappeared.
Yeah,
now.
no, but she can't work if she don't pass the 3 tests.
Yeah, that's
like
crazy.
Yeah, that's dumb.
Well, I think this is a good spot to take our break. So it'll be just a second for you guys, but we're going to take a break. We'll be right back. And we are back. Before we get into any further questions or podcast topics, I want to remind you guys about the Patreon. Once again, we're going to have the link in the description, and we will have a video posted for everyone to watch on there. So don't forget about Patreon.
And all of Ella's marketing places to find her business.
Yes, we will put her...
social media, that's what I was looking for.
Yes, we will put her... You are basically only on Instagram, right?
And Facebook. But
Okay, so we'll have her Instagram and Facebook in the description.
Instagram, Facebook, cell phone number, Snapchat, and all of it.
Yeah, social security number.
Yeah, can I get the last 4 of that by chance? And do you have a bank card by any chance?
Okay, so the first half of this was kind of basically just getting to know what all goes into becoming an esthetician. So I want to hear, have you ever like had anyone just straight up nasty? Like, I'm not talking about like
not clean
personality, but like physically, like just gross.
Like bzzz,
Yeah.
smack the flies off of it.
Yeah.
I mean, not really like nasty, but there was this one lady who came in a lot, and she had a nickname, but I forget what they called her.
You know you're dirty when you got a nickname.
Never good.
Basically, she farted like a lot, and like she would come in for massages, and she would literally lay there and fart and like air out the sheet. And there was one time.
Were they like, before you get any farther, were they like the, or were they like the?
I don't know. Cause I wasn't in there for her.
Yeah.
There was one time she was coming in and she brought in her daughter.
Did her daughter fart too?
Yeah.
So did these farts have like any sort of punch to them, or were they like airy?
I just wonder if they were like moist farts,
Yeah,
or if they
that's
were
what
just
I'm
like
saying.
Well, listen, I was giving her daughter like a back and like neck massage, and yeah, I like throughout this massage, it was like 30 minutes, I would occasionally like I would start to smell something. But I didn't hear anything, and I'm like, what is that smell? I'm like, she doesn't like smell bad. Like I'm literally right like up against her. Like she doesn't stink or anything, and like I didn't know like what the smell was. But then I kind of caught on. I was like, wait, like what are they? Like her mom does this thing, so like why would she not?
It's so funny because you can imagine sitting there going.
Yeah, you're just working on them and you just...
The heck is that?
Yeah, and...
Ma'am, you crapped. You alright?
Yeah, like, she was super duper nice. Like, and so was her mom. They were really nice people. They just farted a lot.
Did they not know it was coming out? Were they like, trying to cover it up like the...
I don't know. Or, like, maybe they just didn't care.
Well, yeah, obviously the mom didn't care because if she's
She
airing
was
out
airing
the
out
sheet.
the sheet.
Oh, she would fart and then, like, flap the...
Yes.
Oh, my
Yes.
gosh.
I thought you meant by airing out like when she would fart. It'd be like in the movies where she goes, "Oh," and comes back down.
No, like she would literally pick up the sheet and like wave it around every single time that she would
Waft
fart.
it, dude. Everybody's getting some of
That's
it.
just
Come on with it.
disrespectful.
I know, but they don't care.
Obviously not.
And like I said, like before I did this massage, I was like, guys, like if she starts farting, I'm literally gonna say like, hey, do you need to go like poop? Like I
Ma'am,
don't
I'm
care.
sorry.
I hate farts. I hate them. I get so mad at you when you fart. Like I
can attest
hate
to
it.
that. Yep. He'll fart and be like, "John, quit."
And like when Blake farts, like I get so mad. I just want to like scream in his face. I don't know what it is. I just hate it.
Mm.
Whoa. What?
I mean, it's
That's when you just look at John and you say, "Listen, John. Your breath smells like crap, but your voice stayed the same."
what? Oh, it took me a second to get that, but okay. Yeah. It's
Right
back
over
there,
top of
it's
the
back
head.
there somewhere.
Dude, that'd be really awkward, though. Like, if somebody's farting, they're, like, trying not to... Because Mamaw did that to me one time. I was walking her up to her house, and my grandma was, like, 97 now. So, I mean, you know when you're that old, you can't hold it.
No.
And you don't care. And a lot of times you don't know.
Yeah.
So, dude, I'm, like, walking up behind her and helping her upstairs. She took one step and went... I went... And, like, the way that her stairs go, like, I'm holding her back and my head is, like, rear end level. And I was like... Wow. I went, holy. She's like, "Are you okay, honey?" I was like, "Yeah, something in my throat."
Something in my throat.
Well, I'm actually trying not to puke. I'm like, "Wow, man, that was a good one."
Yeah. So
I was also gonna say one more thing before I forget. I did not experience this, but I just wanted to tell the story. My instructor had this experience. So she, and you know about this already, but I just want to tell it. Yeah. So she would have this guy come in.
I already know where this is going.
Every so often,
hope
and
this is
he would get waxed. Now, he kind of like worked in...
Was he gay?
No, he kind of worked in
when she says wax, he's getting his southern region waxed.
Yes. Now, hold on. He kind of worked in like a certain like film industry.
Porn.
Yeah. I wasn't gonna just like straight up say it, just you know, to keep it like appropriate, but okay.
I mean, people are gonna put two and two together when you say some
I
industry.
just figured. Okay, so he would come in, and he was a heavier guy, like it, you know, it was fine, and I guess like prior to this, everything was fine, like it was normal. He would come in, get waxed, and then leave, like it was fine. But I guess one time he came in, and this is gonna be gross. She went to wax him, and he had mildew growing like in his southern region. Now,
Like mold mildew?
yeah, like what do you think you would do in that situation?
I'd cut it off. Gonorrhea, dude.
Like we're talking like legit, like
We're talking like actual mold.
Like
We're talking like the stuff that was on top of my Applebee's steak when I finally threw it away.
yeah. Well, I think you got it with mold on
Yeah,
it, but
probably.
that's fine.
Dude, that's...
Yeah.
What do you do for that?
How long would that take?
How would you not know?
That's what I'm saying.
Does he not wash?
I feel like
Obviously not.
maybe he did shower just from where he was a little bit heavier.
Was
there
it
was
like-
water trapped.
Was it like on the underside of the nether regions or...
I don't know the specific area, but I mean it was there.
I don't think it matters where it's at.
No, but
point.
still, I'm trying to think of
Obviously
like, you're not
she saw
noticing
it. So like
That kind of reminds...
What did she do though? Did she like deny service?
mhm.
Oh, she denied service? I was going to say, yeah, I wouldn't touch it either.
Like if there's certain stuff like that that could like, you know, like contaminate something else
Yeah.
or like spread to something, like you can't work on them.
So, just picture this: you're working on this guy. It's got mold growing down there, and then these bored people come in, and they walk in this room. They see mold all over the
What's
place.
that?
They're like, "What the heck?"
That's a tattoo.
Yeah, tattoo.
That reminds me of the guy that cut my hair. I told you waxed my nostrils earlier. He was telling me he used to do like Brazilians and stuff for women, and he said, and this guy, he's a gay guy, So, I mean, obviously, women don't feel threatened around guys whenever they're doing whatever. So, he said that he was giving this girl a Brazilian and her boyfriend or husband was there with him. He said, I've never felt so, like, uncomfortable because the boyfriend came in with her whenever I was waxing her. And he kept, like, looking over my shoulder saying, don't forget that spot. And he was like, turn around, look. He's like, dude, you don't have to worry about me. Like, it's okay. And like, then he said he started like rubbing his body like up on him as he's waxing.
What?
So he was like, yeah, we're done. He's like, that guy was like, I was just going to ask you if you wanted to. He's like, go. He said, I do not wax anybody at all now. He said, just
Oh my
because
gosh.
that was so uncomfortable. And I was like, dude, why would you like even like want to get into that? He said, people pay big money
Oh yeah.
to have that waxed. And he said, but after that, he said, I couldn't. I went, yeah, I probably couldn't
Don't
either.
forget that spot.
I mean, would that
That's
not feel
creepy.
awkward if like somebody's
Yeah.
boyfriend walked in when you're waxing their girlfriend and they was just like right over your shoulder going, don't forget right there.
Yeah.
You're like, but it's like, I forget how much they said they was making, like $100 off like just a Brazilian wax
Oh
or
yeah,
something.
probably.
And like, you probably get people that pay you to like wax their eyebrows and armpits and all that stuff, don't you?
Mhm.
I've heard that's pretty good money though.
Yeah.
Like waxing is.
I'll
in
tell you what
general.
though, I don't think I'll ever get anything waxed because it freaking hurts.
It's so worth it though.
She waxed like the hair on my big toe, and
Oh, that's a sensitive spot though, dude.
I about cried. I'm not even kidding. I was like,
I
I was
got my
man about it. I was like, it's not gonna hurt. She's like, are you sure? Like I can. She's like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah, just do it.
I
She,
got
like,
my
puts the-
armpits waxed like
She, like-
constantly.
She like puts the wax on there, puts the tape stuff over it. I'm like, okay.
I think you guys should feel what it feels like to get your armpits waxed.
Nah, I got hair in there for a reason.
If I cried on a toe, I'm not doing
The
an
armpits
armpit.
hurt.
I'm very lucky with a high pain tolerance, but sometimes it's like some stuff's just
Yeah.
like when I got my nose waxed, it hurt really bad. But like I told you, he shoved them things up in there, dude. Ripped them out, and I was like sitting there and like felt like my nose
Just
was bleeding.
tears start like coming down for a second.
Dude,
You're like,
My nose felt naked, and I didn't realize
probably.
I didn't realize your nose hairs were like filters,
Mhm.
and if you
Yeah,
get
you
them
need
all out,
those.
there's nothing.
Yeah.
And I was sitting there, I was like, man, I can smell. And then like for the next like however long it took for them to grow back, I was like getting stuff in there, and it'd be like filling my junk
Yeah.
up, and I'm like,
Mhm.
what the heck? And then the guy told me, he's like, oh yeah, by the way, your nose hairs are kind of like an air filter. I went, so you
Oh.
waxed them?
He's like, yeah.
It was fun. I went,
It was
Was it?
fun.
was it fun?
It was fun, he said.
Did
No,
you-
I won't get anything waxed on me at all, ever.
You should let her like
What
wax
about
your
your
eyebrows.
eyebrows?
We might do it for the Patreon.
Let her wax your eyebrows
Might do it for the Patreon.
and your back of your neck
Well, we can't say what's going to be on the Patreon because that's got to be.
and armpit.
Just
No,
say you might.
No.
You want a Brazilian?
No. Never, ever in my life. Never.
I was too scared to do that. I would sit and watch them, like my friends at school get like even just like bikini waxes. Like that's not that bad. It's not that much hair. Like and like they were like screaming.
Yeah.
They
Mm-mm.
can't numb it.
Nope.
No, you just gotta do it.
Nope. Wouldn't do that.
That'd be like putting a Band-Aid on your arm. Like
So, like, what's the, why couldn't you just shave it? What's the difference between shaving and waxing?
it grows back thicker when
yeah.
you shave it.
Well, I mean, kinda like if you're waxing, you're pulling the hair completely out, and if you pull the whole hair out to where like you get that little like bulb at the end, that means like that hair isn't gonna grow back. And like the hair that breaks off from where you didn't just like shave it to where it's just like blunt, I guess.
like it flush with your skin.
Yeah, like it'll grow back thinner, if that makes sense.
Kind of like
Mm.
when you shave constantly and you get that little stubble, but then like once you start shaving, like ever so often, you have to do it even more because it just grows
Yeah,
back faster.
and like if you wax, like you won't get stubble. Like it'll grow, but like you won't be able to feel it.
Like you won't have like razor burn or nothing like that.
Mm.
Huh?
No, you'll just have a layer of your skin ripped off.
Yeah, like there are some dangers with waxing. If you don't do it right, you can literally rip someone's skin off.
She did that on my toe. I'm convinced.
No, the wax just didn't come completely off.
Like
Well.
you can rip somebody's skin like literally off.
Yeah, like to where it kind of looks like raw. Like it's probably
So
a
you
terrible
can-
feeling.
So you can give somebody road rash.
Yeah.
Oh no, I've had that too many
And,
times.
oh
I don't
my
want to
gosh.
experience that again.
You can also like, we had a girl.
She's
she
smiling while she's saying all this
She's like,
too.
oh my gosh.
she was getting her legs waxed, and it was her from her knee to like her upper thigh. This girl, this is not how you're supposed to do it. I don't know why she did it like this, but she put an entire like probably like that wide of a wax strip on it, the whole leg, and she tried to rip that whole thing off, and it pulled her skin so hard that she was like she had like a giant like black bruise on her.
No thanks. I'll pass.
Can you imagine like getting in the shower afterwards?
I'll just having
It'd just
raw.
be nothing but raw.
Yeah, having raw skin. Oh my gosh, no.
Not
That
to
hurts.
mention, like, since that wax strip didn't go, like, come off, like, all that hair that was just pulled and not, like, pulled out, it was just pulled,
Oh,
like,
infected hairs and crap.
and, like, that's how you'd get the bruise, because all those hairs and, like, your skin was just pulled out once.
Oh, it didn't pull the hairs out.
No.
Oh
The
my.
From how big the wax strip was, like, it wasn't, like, it didn't come off because it was so big.
That sounds terrible.
So the poor lady not only had a massive bruise, but she still had the hair that she didn't want to have.
I mean, yeah, like you could, yeah. I mean, she was a student, and it was another student like waxing her legs, and she knew it wasn't the right way to wax them, but she just did it. So yeah, like there is
So,
a specific way to do
she
it.
was well aware that she was doing something she probably shouldn't be.
That
Yes.
makes my legs hurt.
Mm.
Oh my, dude, can you just imagine the feeling of that? It's like like somebody just grabs a handful of your hair and pulls it real quick,
Dude,
but
like,
nothing
even-
goes out.
And like if I ever wax like one of your guys' eyebrows or something, like you'll be able to feel this wax like whenever you lay it down and put the strip over it, like it is like really like tough, and like it's just like you get nervous sometimes before you pull a wax strip off
So,
because
how do
it's
you-
so like
How do
Yeah.
you wax your eyebrows without like taking the whole thing off?
you just use like a little tiny stick and go like under and then over and
you
then
go
like
under the
between.
eyes too? Like
Like-
under the eyebrow?
Yeah,
That's
like
like
right
stretch.
there.
That's like stretchy skin, wouldn't it? Just like
That's like on
come
your
off
eye-
with
No,
it.
it's not.
eyelid.
Because you pull it from the side and you like pull the skin, so it's like pulled.
That would
tight.
hurt though. That's sensitive area.
Yeah, dude.
It's just a quick pain, but
I
like
doubt it.
eyebrows are the least painful. Legs hurt pretty bad if
I
you
mean,
get those
if you
waxed.
feel it, dude, that's like really soft, like right underneath your.
Like if I feel like not really having any waxing like pain experience, but if someone like had a gun to me and was like, okay, you're either getting the bottom of your eyebrows waxed or your entire leg, I'm picking my entire leg.
Oh, I wouldn't. Mm-mm.
Like 10 out of 10 times.
Like that lower part of your leg where your skin is a lot thinner, like that's enough to like make your eyes water. Like it hurts so bad.
I think I would do that before my eyebrow, the bottom of my eyebrows. That sounds insane.
It's 2 quick little strips. Your whole leg is like 50 strips.
I'd pick my leg.
I mean, I don't know. I got I had the tattoo down there, and I know what a needle felt like. Certain spots, dude, was extremely tender, like the inside of your leg, and like the back side of your leg's really tender. I can only imagine if like pulling hair out, that probably hurt a whole lot more than your eyebrow.
See, I just feel like I have a higher pain tolerance for pain in my leg than I would underneath my eyebrows.
I have a pretty high pain tolerance, and I thought the legs hurt pretty bad.
I don't
It's
know.
just where your skin
I guess
is
we're just gonna have to do
thin.
it and find out.
If you have like thinner skin somewhere, like say you got like, I don't know, like where's your skin really thin? Like here,
Like
or
your
something?
kneecap.
Yeah. Oh, the knees are scary. Like if you're waxing somebody's legs, that's the scariest part. Cause from where it's like a curve, you can't wax on a curve, you know.
You gotta flatten it out.
So you gotta like try to like measure to where you're gonna be able to get both parts evenly. And like I waxed one of my friend's legs. It was like one of the first times I had waxed legs. And it was Blake.
Lewis.
I thought I had ripped his skin off his knee. Like I really did, because it was so red, and at the time, like, I had never been told that you couldn't just, like, wax over a knee. So I just did it. And, like, it came off, but
Wait, what came off, the skin or the hair?
like, the wax strip. Like,
Oh.
it came off,
Oh.
and the hair came off.
Yeah.
But it was just a little bit, like, too red. So I don't really know what happened.
I know from experience that the kneecap hurts really bad.
Tattoos.
Just because, whenever he was doing that, he was trying to pull my skin down, like, off of my kneecap itself, just because there's like an extremely thin layer of skin and bone. There's like no muscle or nothing underneath that. So like whenever he did get up on my kneecap, he had to like straddle my leg and like hold my leg from kicking up, because it's just a natural instinct.
See, because I feel like I would understand like a tattoo hurting there, because like you said, there's like skin, like no muscle, and then it's just like bone. But like
Yeah, but you gotta think it's
waxing a kneecap.
You gotta think it's the same thing. The hair probably goes all the way down to the bone, don't it?
Yeah, and, like, where you've got thinner skin, it's going to hurt more. And where you've got thicker hair, it's going to hurt more.
No.
So either way you look at it, you're crap out of luck. It's gonna hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, like,
It's just certain
like
spots.
your thigh, like, that probably wouldn't hurt too bad. Because, like,
I'd say your shin
What
would
about
hurt.
like my ankles?
yeah. Oh, the
Oh.
shin does hurt. The ankles, like, it's the worst part. Like, when you're waxing, like,
Well, you also did the top of my foot, and it hurt really bad.
What is up with your
the-
feet?
the skin was,
That was it. Well,
pretty thin.
She got
because
my toe
I
and
was-
the top of my foot.
That was the only place I would let her do it, because I didn't think it would hurt, but it did extremely bad.
Yeah.
Like really
And
bad.
she wasn't gonna try to talk you out of it. She was like, "Oh yeah, we can do those."
Yeah. She's like, no, this isn't like the worst spot ever to be
Yeah,
waxed.
how's this feel?
I seriously, I like
Tear up a little bit?
I like clenched my butt cheeks and closed my eyes real hard and was like,
Clenched your butt cheeks and
Yeah,
closed
it
your
was-
eyes real hard.
it was that bad.
Very great analogy.
Just imagine that, just butt cheeks clenched, eyeballs closed, grunting.
Oh, and, like, I want to tell this story really quick. Speaking of, like, ripping stuff off and it not, like, coming off, we're doing a Brazilian. And this girl, we were using the wrong wax,
Oh Lord, this poor woman.
basically. See, when you do Brazilians or anything like that, you'd want to use hard wax because, you know, it grabs onto the hair better from where it's thicker and it's safer on the skin and all that. So it's just better to use. And we were using, like, the cream wax where it doesn't completely, like, harden. You just use, like, put the strip over it and then rip it off. And we were on, like, a certain spot where she had a lot of hair. And it was, like, really thick hair, like, and the skin was really, like, loose. If that, it wasn't anything like that.
You didn't shave her before you waxed her?
I was
You-
just laughing because
No.
I knew it was gonna hurt.
I mean, it wasn't long
Thickness and all?
enough like that. Like, it was just, like, really thick hair. And, like, we put the strip downwards to where we would have to pull it upwards. And the problem was we could not hold her skin to where we could, like, safely pull it
Dude,
up.
that just hurts thinking about it.
And so we're, like getting, like, under, like, trying to hold her skin. And I don't remember if it was me that pulled the, no, it was one of my friends that pulled the strip. And
He was just on stretch duty.
yeah, like, I was, like, trying to hold her skin. And she pulled it. And it did not, it just pulled, like, the wax, like, stretched, basically. And, like, it just pulled her hair, pulled her skin, did not rip off.
So the skin, basically just the skin flexed like with the wax.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It pulled, like, a patch of hair out to where, like, she had a bald spot in that area for, like, a month.
Oh my gosh.
And it was so, like, red, and her skin had to have been torn off.
I would imagine so.
Dude, can you imagine? Looking down, he still got all the hair. You're like, what happened?
And so,
It didn't work.
We gotta do this again.
We gotta do it again.
well, no, at that point, like, her skin was, like, bad. Like, she wasn't, she was bleeding. But, hold on.
Time out. No, time out. We need
Let's
to
go back to it.
Hold
Wasn't
on.
that
let's
bad.
take
She
a
was
couple-
bleeding.
Let's take a couple steps back, okay?
Hold on.
So you ripped this thing so hard
Cooter cat waxed, but not
that
waxed.
she started to bleed.
It's normal to bleed when you wax. Because
But
that means
down there?
that means you've pulled, like, an entire hair out. Like, anytime I would get like my armpits waxed, I would have like a few little like spots of blood start to come out, but they're just real tiny.
Yeah, but that's not your cooter.
But there is also a difference between saying a few spots of blood and bleeding.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I meant. Like,
Okay.
she was bleeding.
She's bleeding out.
Yeah.
So yeah, like, it is scary doing like that kind of waxing, but it's so much better when you have hard wax for that kind of stuff because it just works better.
So, like, not to go too far in depth, but we're going to. Do you wax the whole area when you do a Brazilian, or is it just like the top?
Oh
Or is it,
yeah,
like,
you have
all
to
of
get
it?
in. My hands have been like in someone's like
Yeah.
cooch before, like just trying to like not like that, but like
But, like,
trying
down
to
the sides and all
trying
that.
to hold skin and like get like certain angles to be able to pull strips off. Like you can't be like weird about it either. Like you just have to do it.
Well, I mean, for you, it wouldn't be weird, but for a guy, it'd be, like, really weird.
Like
you know?
for a guy to wax or to wax
yeah.
a guy.
No, for a guy to wax a woman, or vice versa. For
I
a
mean,
woman
yeah.
to wax, I feel like that'd be weird.
Yeah,
probably.
but you
Just because you
kinda have
wouldn't
to-
want to touch where you,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? But, I mean, for a girl, it'd probably be like, all right, honey, I'm just going to move this to the side. And how'd that feel?
My face has been so close to someone's like butthole before. But you just have to like go with it.
The way that she said butthole. My face has been so close to somebody's butthole before.
Well,
I ain't
Well,
gonna
see,
lie. She
the
farted
thing
as soon
is-
as I pulled the wax strip.
but there's like no way to avoid it.
No, well, the thing is, whenever you're doing,
it's like a pain release. I feel better. Do you
whenever
feel better?
you're doing a,
Okay, sorry. Whenever you're doing
like a full Brazilian wax, don't laugh. You have to like get up on all fours and like.
You should have told me not to laugh. Okay.
It is awkward probably for the person getting waxed because you're like really exposed, but like that it's something you have to do. It's either that or like you like pull your legs like up like by
Like you're
your
giving
shoulders.
birth?
Yeah, like it's one of the two, and I feel like being on all fours is less awkward.
I don't know. I feel
But
like,
that is when
feel like just the way you said all fours made me lose it. It's like,
all right, get to
sometimes,
ripping.
sometimes you got to get up on all fours.
But
Sometimes.
honestly, like that, what you just did right there, that would be a great way to wax because then the skin is pulled tight, like on the legs, like
Yeah.
the cheeks.
Because like you're stretching. a
Yeah,
little bit,
so that would be a great way to wax. It'd be perfect.
Hmm.
And I mean, I
well,
feel like
I can't see myself doing that.
Me personally, I'm gonna stay off all fours,
Yeah.
and you can just tell me how that works out for you.
But yeah,
That'd be really weird to look at somebody and be like, all right, honey, we got the top done. Bad news is, I'm gonna need you to get on all fours.
And she's like, crap.
I mean, I see what
I
you're
mean, you
saying.
just
Though. That
kinda
would be
have to-
kind of vulnerable, but if you're professional about it, it
yeah,
wouldn't be
you have
weird.
to make them feel comfortable.
Yeah, it wouldn't be like almost like getting a physical whenever you
I feel
go
like
and they would
if you
check
were
you.
like hesitant about doing it
Yeah,
or something,
then that'd
like,
make 'em nervous.
That would make them like uncomfortable. But if you just like got in there and just started like doing your business,
Yeah,
like you
it'd be
kind of felt around it before you
Yeah.
done it. It was like
Like whenever you have to go in and like hold skin and like get weird angles, like you just have to say like, hey, we're just gonna get a little bit close here. Like just ignore me, like
we're just gonna be all up in it, but don't you worry about me. I'll take.
Yeah.
yeah,
yeah,
like
you
that
said,
is literally what we would do.
like because like you said, personally, if I was getting that and someone was like, okay,
They
we're
just-
gonna and then they're
They're
real,
like-
like touching me real light, yeah.
touching
And I
it
mean, I
moving
guess
stuff, you're like,
it is easier for me because like I have the same parts. Like it's nothing like
Right.
That's what I'm saying. That's what it would be
Yeah.
weird for like a girl to like wax a dude or a dude to wax a girl, because it'd be like you feel like you're just getting too personal with them. You're like,
Yeah.
But for a girl, it's like, okay, I'm just gonna move this over here, wax it, and move
Mhm.
on. You don't think about it. Rather than if it was a guy in their head, probably they'd be like, is he looking at me weird when he's doing? You know what I mean? It'd be like
I
that.
just got this picture in my head. It's like
That's not good.
guy on all fours, and she's back there waxing. She just looks, sees his head, just folded down, looking at her between the legs. That'd be funny.
ew.
Yeah. Ooh.
How's it going? How's it going back there?
Personally, that'd be weird for me, because you look back and you see your stuff, and then you see a girl going. It's a.
He just,
I feel like it'd be awkward,
yeah.
but if it was a dude, it'd be like, nice one, dude. Done.
All right, yeah. Well, I'm getting uncomfortable.
Well, you made me uncomfortable.
So let's move on a little forward, a little bit.
She said to get juicy, and we
little
got
forward.
juicy.
Yeah, when we took our break, Ellie goes, "Okay, we've been a little too technical this podcast. She's like, let's bring in some juiciness." I'm like, okay.
Don't expose
And
me.
I looked at her immediately. I said, "You ever popped a pimple on somebody's butt?" And she went, "No, but don't ask me now."
So could you do like cysts? If like someone came in and was like, "Oh, give me a facial. Oh, by the way, I got this giant cyst on my face. Could you pop that?"
I mean, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
Very juicy question,
it's an
John.
extraction. Like, it's something I can do. But, like, if they have, like, cystic acne or something
Yeah.
like that, something that's, like, under their skin, I can't really do anything for that.
You guys can't
Yeah.
use local, can you? Like local anesthetic to numb and all that stuff. Okay, that's what the Dr. Pimple Popper does.
Dr. Pimple Popper.
She uses all local aesthetic, but I think she's an actual like dermasurgeon. Is that what
Mhm.
she'd be
She's like
considered?
a-
She's not a dermatologist. She's like a step above
a
that.
doctor.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta think she had to start out pretty much where you're at, you know, because everybody that starts out.
It's a lot of schooling.
Yeah, you don't
Mhm.
you don't just wake up and know
How many
everything.
how many tests do you think she took?
Probably quite a few.
I bet she's got a lot of student debt.
Yeah.
Well, not now. She got a
probably.
TV show, but
Yeah, true. That's long gone.
yeah. But I mean, you gotta think. You gotta start somewhere,
Mm-hmm.
and it's.
Always gotta start somewhere.
It takes a different kind of person to pop pimples. Like I could pop my own pimples.
I love popping pimples. Not
I
on
knew it.
not on other people,
No,
but on myself.
dude, she's got an eye for it. Whenever I stood up, she went, "He's got pimples on the back of his neck. Did you see those?" I was like, "Where?"
Well, I mean, to be fair, there's like one like
oh, I can feel it
there's like a purple dot on your neck right there.
right there.
Yeah, like right there.
I cut myself shaving,
Yeah, like it looked like a pimple from where I
but I
was.
do have a big one on the back of my neck.
That's nice.
But she just saw it. She's like, "He's got a pimple on his
Yeah.
neck." Kind of like Steve Irwin when he saw a freaking crocodile. There's a mangiest crocodile.
You won't catch a pimple on my face because it's already been popped. As soon as,
Does she get
sees it.
mad if you pop them?
Oh yeah.
Why didn't you wait on me?
She's
Yeah.
like, will you let me pop that? I'll be like, yeah. And then she'll like leave the room and I'll be like,
Yep.
not done.
Dude, I was sitting at the house over the summer, and I had my like cut off shirt on, and I had like a pimple right on my ribs. I didn't know. Mom just walked up and went, and I didn't even know she was gonna do it. And I was like, "What are you doing?" She went, "Got it." I was like, "Got what?" I looked down there, I'm bleeding. I was like, "Brenda." She's like, "I love it." I was like,
Your mom cracks.
I was
me
like,
up.
okay. And then whenever she had Ella go in there on Dad, I was like, gee whiz.
Yeah.
They're all in there holding flashlights, looking around. I was like, they're gonna cut his.
Crazy.
They're gonna slit his throat. I'm gonna watch him bleed out right here in the middle of the kitchen. But
Let's see. I'm through all my questions. Do
he
you
only-
have
he
any more
only had-
questions?
He only had 4 questions.
Yeah, I didn't
I
have
only
that.
saw 3.
I didn't have that many questions.
So we've kind of trying to think of a really juicy one because I mean, there's 100 basic questions you could ask, but we've already been kind of like, what made you want to get into it? Where do you see it going? How do you want to, inspire young kids? What was the other one that you asked?
Oh, I asked what her favorite part about it was.
So, how I asked you about wanting to start your own business, doing this, what would be probably the biggest con to all of this? Like, you have a bunch of pros where it's like, this is great, that's great. What is the, if you could change one thing about it, what would it be?
Just like anything.
Yeah, anything with your field of work.
Honestly, I would probably. The first thing would be like booth rent. Like, I just kind of wish you didn't have to do that, and
Yeah.
you could just like kind of rent out like another way, or like not as expensive. But the main thing would be like not having insurance and that sort of thing, because I have to do that all on my own. Like, my job does not come with like health insurance or like anything like that.
You have to pick up your own health insurance?
Or-
she
or,
doesn't,
like-
because she doesn't work for a company.
Dude, that crap is crazy
Or, like,
expensive a month, too.
His insurance that he's gonna have, like, I guess I could like be on that.
Yeah, you could be on
But
his.
I don't have my own. That's like one downside to it.
That's
And you like,
that's crazy. They don't offer it
Yeah.
to your
Well,
studio since you're renting.
You
You'd
gotta
think they
think-
would.
you got to think
Well, I guess you are personally working for
Mhm.
yourself,
Yeah,
but it is a studio
because
rent.
they don't really like work for anybody. They're just renting out like a space.
They don't
to
affiliate
work.
themselves
Yeah.
with a certain.
Right.
Okay, that's still stupid though.
Yeah.
Well, if she got it right now, it probably wouldn't be too bad. But
Your insurance month's probably what, $400, $500, just for yourself.
I don't have it yet.
I know that whenever
maybe I'm thinking of. Well, I was thinking of life insurance, but
I'm
life
like,
insurance.
I'm
would be
getting
expensive right now.
insurance soon. Like, I gotta do all that. But
I know that when we was up at work, it was like $800 for us if we like a month if we wouldn't like have our job site insurance.
Yeah.
It's just something crazy ridiculous, and it's like the state of Ohio or any state for that matter, they don't like cut you any slack on it if like whatever your income is, it don't matter. Their insurance is still going to stay like that high. So it could be
Yeah.
it could be whatever, and that's it. You got to live off of what you make minus your money for your insurance, and that's all you
Yeah.
get. That kind of sucks.
Which I mean, you got to think too. Like, you don't have to have like dental insurance. You don't have to have eye insurance. You
If-
really need health insurance and life insurance, but like
I mean, you
that's
have to have health insurance. If you go to the ER,
that
they
is
won't.
a lot of money.
Yeah, I mean, if you go to the ER and you don't have insurance, a lot of times they won't treat you.
Well, prime example of not having insurance. When I dislocated my elbow, I had to go to the hospital. I didn't have insurance card, which at the time I didn't know, but I'm actually still on dad's until I'm like 23 or something like that.
Well, you can be on there forever.
Anyway, I didn't have any sort of proof or anything like that, so I just said I don't have any insurance. And for a hospital visit for a dislocated shoulder or elbow,
5,000.
no, it was way cheaper than that. But let's see, SOMC billed me directly $800, and then the company that they sent X-rays to billed
Billed
me
you.
$1,400. So it was like $2,000,
Yeah.
over $2,000,
You know-
just to go to the hospital with no insurance for a dislocated elbow.
Do you know that if you're ever like admitted to a hospital, and obviously you have like your doctor, like your set doctor that's
Yeah.
checking your scans, checking your tests, all that stuff. But if a random doctor walks in and just looks at you, they don't have to say nothing. They look at you. You will get a bill from that doctor.
Yeah, you think they're gonna walk in, look at somebody, and not get paid for it?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Even if they don't have to, and they're just walking down the hallway, they'll come in. Like when Dad was in there, a guy just walked in, looked at him. He's like, "Can you open up your throat?" He shined a light in it, said, "I don't know what's wrong with you." Turned around and walked out. Like legitimately, turned around and walked out, and Dad got a bill from him.
Yeah,
And they said,
yeah, you will.
"Have you seen any doctors in here today?" Dad's like, "My doctor hasn't come in." He's like, "But one other doctor come in and said he didn't know what was wrong with me." And they went, "Yep, you'll see a bill." Dad went, "For what?" He said,
Yeah.
"Because that doctor saw you."
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's just like anything and everything to
Ridiculous.
get
And
money.
also, which usually in my past experiences at SOMC, they would take you back to the X-ray room.
Yep.
Well, this time they came in with this big, great gizmo on wheels, and it was a portable X-ray machine.
That's even
So-
more expensive.
So I'm sure they
my
upcharged for that.
my MRI that I had after insurance cost was like $3,400.
Yeah.
Like after my insurance paid so much, it was like that expensive. So you can only imagine how much it would be for, like you said, you have to pick up your own insurance if something happens to you. That's going to be out the rear end.
Right.
Just because I'm assuming you'll be on it by yourself. You won't have anybody on it with you whenever
Yeah.
you get it. So then it's going to be a single dependent insurance. So that interest rate's going to jump up through the roof. Because the more people you have on it, the cheaper it can get, almost like a phone bill.
Mm-hmm.
But dude, that's like, anything's like a money racket, honestly, for that kind of crap. And it sucks for the working class people that actually work for their money
Yes.
rather than the people that work for their money and the taxes that we get taken out go to people that could work but just choose not to.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's crazy. Hopefully they'll make it cheaper on you though, where you're, because how old are you, 19, 20?
19.
Hopefully they'll be like, you know, she's younger and she's getting it for herself. Maybe they won't, you know, jack it up too much.
Yeah.
Because they could if they want to be buttholes about it. And then if you get insurance, obviously you guys aren't going
Yeah.
to, you guys
Which
aren't
I'll have
breaking up anytime soon. So just
I'll
jump
have,
on each other's.
I have everything with the company I'm going to.
That's
Like everything.
that's right. You didn't tell them you're getting a new job too.
No, I'm getting a new job, getting out of Kroger, thank God.
But hopefully it'll be cheaper for you guys if you like combine your insurance almost.
Oh,
Because I'm assuming that your company will pay like your health, dental, vision, the whole nine.
yes.
So if she's on it, that'd be a whole lot cheaper.
Yeah. I think, which I talked to a lady, I think with like all the insurance combined, it's like $80 a month or something like that. Yeah.
That ain't bad at all,
Yeah.
dude. And that's like, what insurance
Or
is it?
not
do you know?
a month, I'm sorry, a paycheck.
Would
but
you
still.
do you know what insurance it is?
Mm-mm.
I'm trying to think. I don't know who, because I'm actually still waiting on. Right now, I technically, quote unquote, don't have insurance
Yeah.
because I've been waiting on my freaking insurance card from the bricklayers for I don't know how long.
Yeah.
But it's like I'll just pay in a certain amount a month, which is pretty cool. That they'll match what I put in, and then they'll also put like X amount in another like savings bond almost.
Mm-hmm.
And this one guy's got like 50,000 in it, and if he were to like get out of the bricklayers, he could still use that 50,000 no matter what. So if he had a surgery, he could pull it out and he don't have to pay it back. But once that's gone, it's gone.
Yeah.
Which I mean, I don't know.
Nobody knows. Well, I think we've gone over about everything we needed to go over. It was a pretty good podcast. I enjoyed it. Learned a lot about some stories and stuff you do because I really didn't know a whole lot about it. I helped her set a room up and stuff, and I was like, "What's this? What's that? What's this gizmo do?" But
That's why I told her when she brought out that vacuum cleaner. I went, "What the heck is that thing? Why does it
Yeah.
got sandpaper on it?"
and I'm gonna bring it up for I don't know how many times now, but our Patreon. Our Patreon. If you want to see Mason get his face sucked out by a machine, all of his pores cleaned out, all that junk coming out of his face, stuff like that, we have that up on Patreon. And like, the only way you're going to be able to see it is through Patreon. So,
And all of Ella's information will be at the bottom of this video in the description.
Yep.
And or you could probably actually just put it on the screen, right?
yeah, if it's not on the screen, it will be in the description.
Ella, hold your hands out. Right
It'll be-
here.
It'll be right here.
Right there.
Boop, boop,
Insert Ella's name.
Yes. That will be her Instagram and Facebook. All of our social media will also be in the description. Patreon, Instagram, TikTok.
We're also going to start a Rumble.
We are also going to start a Rumble.
It's actually
We got a few complications going on with that I need to tell you about. But
newsflash. I don't know what's wrong.
yeah, it shouldn't be too horrible.
No, just nah.
We'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed the podcast, please share, like, subscribe, leave a comment on either podcast topics or just something that you would like to hear or questions in general. And yeah.
And if you're watching this and we know you and you're somewhat close to us and you want to be on, give us a shout and give us an idea and we'll
make something happen.
see if we can get them on.
Yep.
So.
Thank you all for watching. Have a good one.